Welcome back, and we're ready to go with the third duel of tonight, but I'm not sure what the holdup is. But I got corner Chad Cox, helping coach Beat Diggers all over the place, doing the middle school a little bit and doing the high school. If anybody doesn't know, Chad wrestled for the Beat Diggers. What was that, back about 87, somewhere there?
Got out in 88, yeah.
Did you?
Yep.
Okay, and thanks for everything you do for the sport.
It's good to be back in Brush and, being around the sport as long as both of us have. It's nice to now be part of all of the different levels, the Metro, the youth, and then to help out with the middle school and of course, the high school. I really appreciate the opportunities. Head coach Troy Lucenhope and Aaron Quinlan and the school board and everybody's giving me.
Well, that's neat to have you so involved, and it's not like you don't have a full-time job and you're away from home a lot too.
It gets tricky. My wife, hopefully she's not listening because she knows I cater my schedule to the wrestling season and the family. It gets tough to balance.
Well, doesn't everybody?
Yeah, the sport. It takes all the time you have.
Well, it's a short season. Just get out of Thanksgiving and you're right into Christmas, and it doesn't seem like it takes very long.
Nope, you got to get after it and go hard the whole time.
Well, that's just talking about the high school season. We're not talking about the Metro and the freestyle, and then into the high school, and then we get into the middle school season now, and then we'll start the Pee-wees here pretty quick, and then go into freestyle in the summer again. Just boom, 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 boom.
It can be. If you make it your full-time sport, you can go 11 months.
Yep.
We have 2 JV matches.
Okay, we got a couple JV matches coming up. Then we'll have another break, so you might as well hold it here and let you call a match here.
Jason Weisman from Brush versus Connor Golightly, 106 pounds. On deck,
Jason
Weisman
Weisman
from Brush versus Tommy Bond.
The sophomore 6-pounder.
He's a sophomore? Yeah, he's almost 106 this year. And let's see, who was the kid from Strasburg? I don't know, the weights are all messed up and stuff, so I didn't catch that name.
I didn't either, and I don't see anybody listed on the program there.
Tyler Dashner's listed, but...
on the varsity side?
Yeah, he is. But there's a little guy stepping out for Strasburg. That could be Disher, I guess, if they didn't want to throw him in against Caleb, but he towers over Caleb.
most 6-pounders do.
Mostly? I hear that runs in the family. You start small and grow all through high school.
Would have been nice to have a 98-pound class this year for Caleb.
Yep. Well, there's Weisman with a shot.
He's got a single leg there.
Trying to pick it up. Jason showed flashes last year, but he was really small as a freshman for the Beat Diggers.
Yeah, they both got a leg, looks like.
Oh, there's a takedown for Jason. I'm just going to have to call it Strasburg wrestler. I didn't catch that name. Sorry about that. Didn't get a whole lot of help from the stat people. He finally got the varsity from him. But
he's got his 2-on-1 wrist tilt. He rolled through. He's got a chicken wing with a wrist. Now he's getting outside, going to drive it, stepping. Looks like he's about to break that plane. There we go. It's a back count. Got 2.
Officials are kind of down there in the danger zone. Top got a kick to the face there.
That worked good. We got 2 back before they went off the mat.
Okay. I'm going to slip over there and see who that other kid is.
And they start fresh in the middle. Jason's on a head lever, popping his hips outside. Strasburg wrestlers on his belly. Jason's digging in the chicken wing, same move he just used. And
it's Tommy Go Lightly.
Yeah, I've seen those dishers. They've been in the Metro program for some time.
Okay. Yeah, there's 2 of them wrestling this year. About every year there's 1 or 7, huh?
No. Jason stepping that chicken wing again. He's got him 90. And it slipped out. And the period ends. Mr. Weisman's up 4-0. Into the first. Green to Furs to Brush. Jason True's bottom. Rob, certainly want to take the opportunity to thank you for all your years. I enjoyed listening to the radio. I was up with the middle school in Holyoke today and was getting here as fast as I could, so it was nice to catch you in the first couple of matches before I got here.
Well, that's neat. Well, that all goes back to our great sponsors and great owners. You just can't beat what we have in Morgan County. It's just amazing that
we appreciate them all, KSIR and everyone involved. Mr. Weisman, Strasburg wrestler, locked hands on top. Jason got a point. The reset started. Jason hit a switch. We're now up 7-0 and riding the Strasburg wrestler. He's got him flat, digging a half in hard.
These little guys, it's hard telling what kind of pickle they're going to get in out there.
Any of the long ones. There, we got him turned. Looks like we're getting a back count.
He's getting some back points there.
Yep, he's got the three locked up. See if he can get the fall here. Got to get off his knees. There we go. He's listening to his coaches.
How much did you hear from your coaches when you were out there?
You know, you can. It takes a little bit to learn to focus. So he gets the 3-point near fall. Strasburg gets back to his belly.
Yeah, his name's Tommy Go Lightly. He's going to grow up to be tough with a name like that.
Well, there you go. Mr. Weisman's driving a nice deep half. If he settles that, this could get it done. Yeah, it sure helps to have your coaches, talking to you while you're out there. They see some things that, you get kind of twisted up and keeping your pressure on. Sometimes you don't realize maybe what's right there, and they can put you in the best position.
There's a time or two this year I've seen the guys just kind of stop and listen to the coach and don't stop.
Well, yeah, key number one is stay in control and keep the weight on and the position. And try and listen at the same time. Jason gets his 3-point near fall. Should be up 13-0, yeah.
13-0 as we go into the third period.
Strasburg chooses neutral.
How did the middle school kids do?
From Tuesday was the first event that I was with them in Yuma, and honestly, I saw quite a bit of improvement today. We still got some things to work on, and you talk about the high school season being abbreviated. The middle school season's really abbreviated. Mr. Weisman gets a takedown.
That should be the man.
That should be. There we go. That's technical fall.
15-0.
So very happy to see the improvement today from the middle school wrestlers. I think there's some youth there, not a lot of mat experience, but man, they seem to be learning and listening, and it'll be nice to see them get into the high school.
And you got numbers? Got quite a few kids out?
I know we took 25 to Yuma on Tuesday. I drove up separately, so I didn't get a head count today, but I'll bet it was similar.
Uh-huh.
So we're probably close to 30.
And we're underway. Peyton Schott's just a freshman. Pretty good sized.
He is. And, Peyton's last match showed a lot of improvement.
Oops.
Got caught right here, and the double lifted to his back. He's fighting off. He's on the edge. He's about a foot away if we can get driven off there. Rich calls it, falls pretty quick, and then Peyton goes into the fall at 29 seconds.
Tommy Vaughn was the wrestler out there.
Mr.
Tommy
Vaughn.
Bonds.
Bonds, he looks.
Sophomore.
Yeah, he looks like a linebacker, the gentleman he just wrestled.
Yeah, he does.
I'm happy with Peyton's improvement, though. He's doing a good job this year.
I think. Yeah, he looks like he's got an athlete's body there.
Yeah, Peyton. You know, you can tell he's in that maturing stage, and by the time wrestling season comes around next year, he's going to be caught up with this growth.
Honorable mention.
Okay,
Grace Buchanan.
let's see. He was listed
Next,
at
honorable mention.
170,
Brian
so
Nichols.
his opponent was listed at 160. So
And at this time,
He was a bit chiseled.
little chiseled.
Yeah.
He's pretty chiseled for JV, but we'll see how it goes. Let's take a short time out. We'll be back with more on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Okay, welcome back, and we'll try to get set for varsity as we want to. Shane Cole's going to step in here and help us out a little bit. Starting lineup is brought to you by Cargill Beef. Cargill Beef is committed to feeding the world in a responsible way by reducing environmental impact and continuously improving their products and processes. Learn about Cargill's story of commitment at www.cargill.com. As we said, we'll start at 182. Kyle Rosenbrock will take on Skyle Ames. At 195, Jose Rodriguez, North Forward. At 220, Tristan Teeter, ranked number 9 in the state, will take on Shane Coombs, ranked number 2. And
versus Colin Cole.
at 285, Joe Carwin goes, ranked number 1 in the state, against number 3 ranked Jacob Sandis-Stevens. I didn't see that.
I believe he's undefeated. As when I was talking to some of the people in the stands, too, I don't think he's been defeated yet.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, Shane Cole stepping in here. We won't get too nervous on you, us, will you?
I'll try not to.
Okay. Thanks, Lisa, for dragging you down. I couldn't see you up there in the wherever you were up there in the bird's eye. But anyway, it'll be Carlin against Sandis-Stevens. Then we drop down. Caleb Cox will go against Tyler Dasher, freshman. And Caleb ranked 14 in the state. Colin Cole goes for the Beat Diggers against Chris Zackerson. There's Zacher, sophomore. And then Jason Moreno goes at 120 against Nick Carter. Conrad Cole, ranked number 1 in the state, will take on Chad Nuttall, a junior. Jaron Peterson goes against Keenan McCarthy, also a junior. And baby, Arnoldo Maltos Garcia, will take on Logan Huser. And David Dunham steps in at 145 against Damon Houndshell. At 152, Zane Fowl will go against Nathaniel Dasher. Fowl ranked number 9. Nathaniel ranked number 8, and both of them ranked at 145. And at 160, Alec Peterson takes on John Still. Toby McDonald will finish it up as Toby takes on Jacob Smith. Smith ranked number 3 in the state. So, captains shake hands. And think we'll ever get a full roster to a duel?
I hope it, well, maybe not to duel, but I hope it all comes together for the regional and state tournament, and I think it's looking like it will.
We got Cookie out, and then I see Mackie Sandoval not here this week. So.
Yep. I heard he's sick, talking to the people, so I don't think he was sick, and then he came out and wrestled at the top of the Rockies, and he didn't do bad, but he was...
Kyle Ames versus Kyle Rosenbrock.
Okay.
He was still sick, so...
Well, we need to get him healthy.
Brush is even matches, and
what's that?
Brush is even. Even and odd, brush is even.
Oh, brush is even, okay. Thanks, Tim, to help us, so Jose will get choice.
So we start out here, and Kyle's wrestling. Strasburg, Kyle shoots in on a throw by double, and then he sprawls out, and Kyle's back on his feet. What's the Strasburg's wrestler's name?
Sorry about that. I didn't write up. Skyle Ames.
Skyle. So we got Kyle and Skyle.
Yeah, Kyle.
Now they're
and
tied
Skyle.
up in a forehead-to-forehead tie. Kyle shoots in, and he takes him right to his back in a half Nelson on the way down, so he's getting back points and the takedown. Now he works it into a headlock. Oh, he lets it go, and now he's chinning his near shoulder down in the mat. He's got a reverse half deep, getting back points with 1 minute 20 seconds in the first period. Now he's going to that. Now he's working a headlock. He can lock his hands up now. He's got it locked. He's sprawled out, gets the pin in 1 minute 9, with 1 minute and 9 seconds left, so 51 seconds in the first period.
How about that? Let's take a short time out. We'll be back in 30 seconds on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com.
Fall, Kyle Rosenbrock. At 195 pounds, Strasburg Rodriguez. At 220 pounds, Shane Coombs versus Tristan Treader.
Can we step up here at 220 as Tristan Teeter will take on Shane Coombs. Coombs is senior, I think. How did he do last year at state?
He placed in the top 6, I know. He was in Joe's Carwin's weight class last year.
Yeah, and Carwin couldn't beat him regionals or state, and then Joe ended up in the finals.
Yep.
So against the kid from Fort Lupton.
During the break, we had Jose Rodriguez get a forfeit at 195, so the dual meet scores 12-0. Tristan gets taken down, but then goes right to a roll and kind of rolls through it, but then Shane Coombs comes up on top and the scores 2-0 with 1 minute 30 left in the first period. Tristan's working for hand control underneath, and Coombs comes out with that. I don't really know what that's called. The far.
Yeah, he's trying to crank that hammerlock out.
The hammerlock. He gets it, and then Tristan comes up to his feet, and then gets taken back down, which allows the pressure to be taken off the hammerlock. Now Coombs is way out in there, and Tristan comes to his feet again. They go out of bounds. Tristan's down with 1 minute 4 in the first period. Score of the match is 2-0. Coombs from Strasburg. Tristan goes to a stand-up, and Coombs brings him back down across the crossbody. And then Tristan sits out and gets a 1-point escape on a far sit-out. Scores 1-1 or 2-1. Shane Coombs in the lead. Tristan takes a shot, misses it, but then comes back up and gets back to his feet. And Coombs reshoots, and now we got a single leg, but they go out of bounds, so they're back in the center and neutral with 38 seconds left in the first period.
These guys should meet in regionals.
No.
I was going to double check that here.
Strasburg goes over the hill. I think they're going to
Along with
Florence.
Sterling.
Yep.
His Valley's going to go up to
Ooh, Coombs
Denver.
throws a lateral drop on Tristan and takes him right to his back, and now he's getting back points and the takedown. 13 seconds left in the first period. Tristan gets back to his belly, gives up 3 near fall, but the score's 9-1. That was good. Tristan fought hard to get off that. That was a pretty nice lateral drop by a couple big guys.
Trying to check out these regionals, but I've got a better copy than this one. Okay, here
Tristan takes down.
Now Brush will be at Eaton, along with Meade, University, Holy Family, Erie, Platte Valley, Bennett, Estes Park, Skyview, Berthoud, Faith Christian, and University.
Tristan took down, and Coombs gave him an escape, so they started out in neutral in the second period to score 7-2. They didn't. Then Coombs snaps Tristan down, gets out and takes him down for 2, and then lets him up right away for an escape. Works on that Prescott. Now they're facing each other, getting back in their stances. Tristan's looking a little bit better now, and he takes a long shot, and Coombs snaps him down again and gets behind, makes the score 11-2.
Now Strasburg's going to drop down to Region 2 and go down to Lamar, along with Colorado Springs Christian, Trinidad, La Junta,
Lamar,
Dolores Huerta,
Horta,
Manitou Springs, Alamosa, Elizabeth, Salida, Classical Academy, Florence, and St. Mary's.
That's
going to be a tough region.
And then Coombs just lets Tristan up again, and then he shoots in for a single leg, and Tristan actually falls to his butt and rolls him through, and they go back to the center of the bat now and are starting in neutral position. Tristan takes another knee tap shot. Tristan's been doing a lot of the shooting, and Combs has been capitalizing on long shots or head down in Tristan's case. They're working towards the edge of the mat. Tristan's got underhooks, and he learned from that first lateral drop not to push into that, didn't he?
Coombs up 11-4, 33 seconds of counting.
Coombs does a nice sweep single, and Tristan sits back on his butt and rolls him through again, but Coombs gets his balance and comes back around, and Tristan's on the mat. Coombs gets a 2-point takedown. 13-4 is the score with Coombs in the lead from Strasburg. 10 seconds left in the second period. Tristan hits an elbow roll when Coombs was reaching underneath for the claw and creates some space, and we got short time. We're going to run out of time, but Tristan does get back to his feet.
Coombs just about gave up a point with a half second left.
Some might have given it to him.
Would you?
I wouldn't have, but I've seen some say it's kind of one of those things that the referee, if you're going to let it go, I'm going to award the kid a point. Tristan started out on top in referee's position. Coombs stands up and gets a 1-point escape. Scores 14-4 now. They're in a forehead-to-forehead tie. Coombs tries a duck under. Tristan stops that pretty good, and then Tristan does a reshot. They're back on the edge of the mat. Tristan shoots as Coombs is chasing him and gets a single leg up in the air, and they're inbounds, and Tristan takes him to the mat. No points yet. Oh, Tristan took that down and stepped inside the leg, and when he hipped him down, he didn't follow him down, so Coombs was allowed to bounce back up and sweep behind as like a switch.
Okay, why'd you stop that one?
I think Tristan's shoulder might have done something, and the ref just stopped it to make sure everything was good to go. Tristan's on the bottom. Score of the match is 16-4. Coombs is running that hammer lock on the outside, on the left side. Tristan stands up from it. Now they go face to face, and Tristan's neutral with Shane Combs. Tristan takes a long shot right on the edge of the mat. Now they go out of bounds. This isn't a bad match for Tristan. This kid's a good challenge, and Tristan's taking him, not giving in any ground. No. Tristan takes another shot on his leg. Coombs sprawls out and throws a crossface and spins around behind. That was a pretty stout crossface right there.
Yeah, Coombs doesn't look that strong, but he's throwing Tristan around. It's got to be pretty stout.
He's thick. If you look at his body style, they have similar body styles. They're both thick in a good way.
Yeah, Coombs trying to put a leg in there.
Tristan's got his butt up, and Coombs' hips are on the mat, and he's working to get that come out the side door, I guess. He's not really coming out the back door, but goes for his head and goes for the gusto with 20 seconds left in the match, and that's what he needs to do. Coombs come back around up on top, but Tristan's got that leg keeping it from going in, and he hits a stirrup, comes out, and the score's 1 point. The score's 18-6, and Coombs shoots in on Tristan, tried to get a deep, and Tristan's got a front headlock, and then Coombs squeezes out of that and comes around for two to make the score 20-6 at the end of the period. So that'll be a major decision for Coombs and Strasburg.
Well, that's pretty good, and we'll have a great match coming up here in a moment, so don't go anywhere. As we were say something about Equitable Savings and Loan. Northeastern Colorado's locally owned hometown savings and loan with locations in Fort Morgan, Sterling, and Brush. They have financial solutions for you. And Central Auto Parts. You need your vehicle and farm equipment to be in top shape, so make sure you take care of them by purchasing the best quality parts at great prices from your local Napa stores. Central Auto Parts in Fort Morgan. Okay, number 1 against number 3.
They started in a four-head tie. Joe looks to be a little undersized in this one.
Yeah, he's going about 240. It looks like Santa Stevens all of the 285 maybe.
They're built a little different. Joe's got a little bit more thick in his thighs and back portion, and Santa Steven has a little bit more in the mid and top section. In a four-head tie. Santa Steven tries to Prescott, and Carwin hips into him, and they both come back out and face each other. Going back into a four-head tie-up, working on a little bit of pummeling going on there, trying to get inside control. Both wrestlers are moving quite well. They got it four-head tie, so they're both. Carwin tries to throw by of that elbow, and then Santa Steven just steps through with it. Carwin reaches in for a double leg and reaches in for a double and comes up with a single, picks it right up in the air. Now he's right in the center of the mat. He's working him, pulling it in. He's swinging it around. Now he goes to the hip, and he's behind him, and he's got to bring him back to the mat now to get a no points are scored. Santa Steven gets his feet back on the ground and hips out and turns and faces Carwin. So all that work for a lot of action, but no scores, no points.
Yeah, I think you might have got a point for fleeing the mat by Santa Steven if he just hung on to him there.
Because Santa Steven was headed for the edge of the mat, but they had 25 seconds left in the first period. They're still in neutral, and they're going back into a four-head tie. Boy, he had that up high and deep, too. Santa Steven must have pretty good balance for a bigger guy.
He's pretty tall. Long legs, hard to get him off the ground.
10 seconds into the first period, and they're still in a 0-0 match. They'll end the first period with 0-0.
Be Joe's choice.
Maybe we should tell the referee whose choice it is, huh?
I thought it was that's what I wrote down.
Carwin takes down out of it. Whatever transpired. Carwin's up on his feet. Santa Steven drives his shoulders and head into the mat. Carwin's in a tripod. Carwin stands up again, and he's circling. Santa Steven's chasing him. Carwin turns the corner, and now he's facing him. Carwin scores 1 point escape. They go back to that four-head tie. Santa Stevens tries the elbow throw by and doesn't work. Santa Steven likes to work the edge a little bit, doesn't he? He's working, and Carwin's on the outside of the circle, and Santa Steven's not letting him come back in, and he's kind of making him, pushing him, and then they circle, and Carwin shoots on the edge again, and he picks up that single leg again. He tries to lift him up, and right there on the edge where Santa Steven seems to like it. So he's got to do something with that without going out of bounds, or it's going to be time. He goes to a double, and Santa Steven has a whizzer in, and he whizzes them down, and they come back to their feet, separated and facing each other, forehead to forehead. Santa Steven tries the elbow throw again. Carwin needs to bring him back to the center, I think, and wrestle there so Santa Steven he's not working the out of bounds. And we get a stalling call on Green or Santa Stevens, which is a good call. They come back to the center. 45 seconds left in the second period. Carwin's in the lead 1-0. Santa Steven throws that elbow throw again. He does it to the opposite side this time. Carwin just goes with it, comes around. A lot of pushing now, not as much movement on their feet, huh, Rob?
Yeah, it was going to come down to conditioning maybe. There's a lot of work mauling each other around out there.
Santa Steven has an underhook. Now they break free and go back to a four-head tie with 15 seconds left in the first period. Carwin's in the lead 1-0. Santa Stevens shoots Carwin off the mat, and they go back to the center with 10 seconds left.
Carwin needs to stay busy on the edge there. He'll get dinged for stalling.
Go into Santa Stevens trying for an underhook. he does wrestle with Combs, so in practice I'd imagine he might have some of those throws or drops up his sleeve. Santa Stevens' choice, and he takes down. Again, the scores 1-0 Carwin. Start of the third period, and the Strasburg wrestler takes down. Strasburg wrestler tripods up, comes to his feet, scores 1-1 with minute 55 seconds left in the third period. They go back to a forehead-to-forehead tie, and Carwin gets out of it and shoots in on another single leg. He's got it deep again. Can he finish it this time? He takes it to a double and goes to a tackle and drives him right to his back and gets a 2-point. But Santa Stephen is again out of bounds, so there's no back points. Carwin's inbounds. Carwin's trying to drag him in. He has to be careful not to give up his control or get sloppy. We got blood time going on now, so Carwin gets a 2-point takedown. The score of the match is 3-1 with a minute 30 seconds left in the third period, and we get blood time for Santa Stevens.
So over there on the other end there, Santa Stephen looking for the towel. How about that? That's good flurry there, and a good job by Carwin to get that takedown.
And he changed he cut that across like to a double leg, or cut it across and took both legs that time, and he had room to work on the edge. That's what made the difference. Because every time, if he before, he would have taken him right out of bounds when he took him down.
Good job of, I almost had him there where he could get some back points, but Santa Stephen out of bounds. Well, we started this duel at 182 with a pin by Kyle Rosenbrock at 51 seconds over Skyle Ames. Jose Rodriguez picks up a forfeit win, and Tristan Teeter loses a major decision to Shane Combs or something like that. And then we're here at 285 for our fourth match with Joe Carwin against Santa Stephen. 1:27 left here in the third period.
Now we're looking at Joe to get blood up. He must have a little bit of blood on him too. So
you don't normally see the referees helping get the guys cleaned up.
No, you don't. Maybe he realized that it's interfering with the actual flow of the match, so he wants to get it moving.
Carwin's set to go.
Carwin's
That's a good way to get a little rest. Just bleed a little bit. Huh?
I was just going to say about the same thing.
Okay. Yep. Nice facility here at Strasburg.
Yep. Nice upper deck on both sides.
Okay. Now we're set to go.
Minute 27 seconds left in the third period. Carwin's on top 3-1. He's also on top in referee's position, and Santa Stevens is down. Referee blows a whistle, and Joe gets a jump in the beginning and gets his weight on Santa Stephen and keeps him down. Santa Stephen comes back to a tripod, and Carwin lets him go, and now the score is 2-3. Carwin in the lead with a minute 10 seconds left in the third period. They go right back to that forehead-to-forehead tie. Joe staying out of that throw by not throwing up his elbow or getting underneath or having under. Joe looks like he has the ability to throw a Prescott, but they go separate and they face each other. Santa Stevens showing a little bit more urgency right now and pushing Joe a little bit more. Joe staying in the center of the mat, not taking a bait and moving towards the edge. We got 40 seconds left in the third period. The score is 3-2. Carwin's in the lead. And if my sources were right, Santa Stephen is undefeated and going against Carwin at, 3 or 4 losses. Blood time again.
Joe noticed the cotton had left the nose of Santa Stevens. You have to clean him up again. That's
got 30 seconds left in the third period.
I have my cheat sheets, but I don't know if I brought the right ones here.
You do have a lot of sheets.
Lots of sheets, and then I get them so confused I can't figure out which one's which. A little bit. But there's nothing on Strasburg on the preseason cheat sheet. But
so we got Santa's.
He's only a junior.
He's a junior, so he's Joe Carwin, a senior. They're wrestling again. They went out and started neutral position. 25 seconds left in the third period. Carwin's ahead 3-2. Carwin reaches down for a knee snatch and misses it, but keeps him out of the trouble of stalling. Now they work towards the edge of the mat again with 10 seconds left. Santa Stevens is going to start going. He tries for an underhook. He's going to look for a throw. Carwin posts his head in his forehead. Now they're working. He's circling back to the center and bringing them back, and Joe Carwin wins the match 3-2.
Well wrestled match by Joe.
Yep, it was.
Wrestled real smart. And,
good action by both wrestlers.
Joe Corwin.
Okay, how about that?
At 106 pounds.
Let's take a short time out. We'll be back in 30 seconds on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Welcome back, and we step up to the 106-pounders. Number 14 ranked Caleb Cox, freshman for the Beat Diggers, taking on Tyler Disher, freshman out of Strasburg.
They've been for about 30 seconds now. They're in a forehead-to-forehead tie on the edge of the mat. A lot of movement, but not a lot of shots as of yet. You go back to the center of the ring. Go forehead-to-forehead tie again. Caleb snaps him down, gets his head underneath. The Dishler has an overhook and an underhook, so it's actually preventing any more movement or shots by Caleb. Now Caleb comes to the edge and circles back in, and Blue works for an ankle pick and misses it, and then they go out of bounds. So there's a minute left in the first period in a neutral position.
Caleb's going to be dangerous when he works into a weight.
Yeah, he will. And Dishler shoots in for a single leg and picks it up, and Caleb's working for a sprawl, and then Dishler's got his head down, so he's looking for a cradle right now. Caleb's actually behind, but no points have been scored yet. They're on their feet. Caleb's behind and has like a figure four on the leg, like if they were starting from the neutral position. And he takes him down and gets a 2-point takedown right into the legs. So scores 2-0 and 30 seconds left in the first period.
That's Caleb with the lead, too, with that takedown.
He's got the leg in on the right side. Dishler's come up underneath the leg and brought it out. So he's working for to come underneath the leg and throw it through. And Caleb's working the far ankle, trying to break him flat.
I'm not sure Disher didn't have the leg the whole time. They were kind of faced away from us.
Maybe. And then they referee calls a stalemate and they go back down, and Caleb finishes out the period on top with a score of 2-0. Caleb's choice, and he takes down.
Is that a good choice?
We'll see.
Yeah.
Right off the whistle, Caleb comes to a stand-up, so I think it was. Dishler throws in a leg and reaches around to get the other leg. Now Dishler has him broke down, and now he's going for a far arm, going for that guillotine. Caleb's flat on the mat. Dishler has the leg on the left side. And Caleb gets out of the legs, and Dishler comes back up to a top, and Caleb stands up, works for a switch, and he gets an escape. Loss of control. If they were in the center of the mat, that would have been a reversal.
Yeah, just didn't have enough for the whole reversal, but he did give him a point. I thought maybe he might wave that one off.
Scores 3-0 with Caleb in the lead. Both in the center of the mat, forehead-to-forehead tie. Caleb does a nice duck under, and comes around for two. Scores 5-0. Caleb in the lead with 1:10 seconds left in the second period. Caleb has a spiral right on. The Strasburg wrestler is working up. Caleb's working that spiral ride pretty good, keeping heavy on the hips and the upper body. He's turning it. Now he looks like he's got a half off that spiral ride, and he's running him around, working for some near fall points there. It looks like he might get some. He's got him in a deep half. He's a little high, but he's got some back points out of it. So he has a 2 count. Now he brings it back around, and he's working him again. He's got to do a calf throw, and he does that, but they're going to go out of bounds. So Caleb will get 2 near fall points out of that. The score is 7-0 with 35 seconds left in the second period.
He showed some real quicks on that takedown and then right to that pinhold.
Yes, the one thing that hopefully we improve on and go from move to move. I mean, I've talked to my boys about not being content with either being taken down and or taking somebody down and saying, okay, I got to do the next move. Let's go to the next moves. And Caleb did a good job of that right there. Caleb's got a 2-on-1 ride underneath and working to flatten him out. Dishler tries a little elbow or elevator, gets a little bit of space, but Caleb comes back around behind. Caleb's got the stubby on the left side, and then he goes back to that spiral ride again like he had earlier where he scored the points.
He rides out the period. He's up 7-0. Beat Diggers lead the duel 15-4.
Dishler takes neutral in the third period, so the score is 7-0 Cox, and they're neutral in the third period.
Feels like they turned the heat off in the gym.
Yeah, I think if you're wrestling, it'd probably feel pretty good. Caleb and Dishler are in a forehead-to-forehead tie, working towards the edge of the mat. Dishler comes up with a clinch move, but they go out of bounds. They come back to the center of the mat. Caleb gets down in that low stance, and he's short anyway, so when he gets in that low stance, it's hard for people to get underneath him. Dishler tries a leg sweep, and they go out of bounds, but Caleb comes back in and circles around, gets a 2-point takedown out of that.
Well, that was staying with it, working the edge, and
yes,
use that quicks again.
Got a minute, 25 seconds left. Caleb is up 9-0 in the third period. Caleb goes to the chop in the far arm, and now he's looks like he's working to throw in an arm bar on the left-hand side. He does get the arm bar. He's actually got the arm underneath, too, so that'll be a tight ride. He's working for an opposite roll tilt. Running it against the arm bar instead of running the arm bar over.
Takes a lot of strength to do that. He's giving up a lot of size.
Stalling red.
They call that on Caleb.
Boy, if you would have called that earlier in Collins' match against the other kid, that might have made a difference. That was definitely quicker than what he's called it in the past.
Right.
Now he goes to a 2-on-1 on the right side. Caleb's out on the side, working on a little bit of a stubby and working it. Now he goes to the other side. It looks like he's going to go for a tilt. And then he just breaks him flat to the mat, and they're tied up on a 2-on-1 on the left-hand side now. Caleb's got the stubby in. We got 20 seconds left in the third period, and Caleb's up 9-0. Caleb's got now he reaches up for the head, looking for sucking the head under, and then he goes to a tight waist far arm ride. 3 seconds left in the period.
Okay, 9-0, major decision. How about that? So the Beat Diggers go up 19-4 on the team side. Colin Cole's up next. You want to hold your breath on this one?
We'll see.
We'll see. Colin Cole taking on Chris Zacher. Zacher, that storky-looking guy there with the long legs,
he's
long
tall.
arms.
He's a head taller than Conrad, or than Colin. As they line up, Colin's got a little bit of girth on him, which that doesn't happen for a lot of the guys, but he is a head taller than Colin. So we'll see how he does on this. If he wrestles this match like he did the first one, we'll be happy. He shoots in on a double leg and drives him out of bounds, and they go out of bounds, but that was a pretty good shot. And he drove it through, and they end up out of bounds. They line up again. Colin takes a quick shot or knee tap, and the wrestler from he gets in a tie. Roll through. And he gets a lateral drop, and Colin's on his back, giving up back points, and he just couldn't go with that tallness. It was just too tall. And he comes back and he fights through, and he comes through on a reversal, rolls through and bridges over and gets a 2-point reversal. The score is 5-2. Colin Cole is losing the match. Fights off his back and earns another chance to come back and make a difference.
Came up right between the legs, had him on his back, but they were out of bounds.
Yep. The whistle goes, and Colin misses the jump, and that length, that height on him just is bad. Colin takes the kid to his back again and Now he breaks him down. He's got to work him on the mat. He can't let him get up. A nice crossface there on the edge of the mat. And these Strasburg guys are working the edge of the mat. Colin gets a cradle locked up on the edge, and he circles him back in, and the Strasburg kid pushes him out of bounds. So
they've been watching Valley the last couple of years. Huh?
That was a good scramble, and Colin had that cradle locked up. But they 2 steps from that Strasburg kid, and they're right on the edge of the mat. So
three for Colin.
Yeah. We got a caution on bottom, so Colin Cole's on top. The score of the match is 5-2 for Strasburg. Minute 10 left in the first period. They start. Colin gets a tight waist and an ankle, and the kid just is long. He takes him, and now he breaks him flat to the mat, and that's where he's got to keep him. He's got to work him up. And he brings him, just can't get around. The leverage is just not there. He needs a 3/4 step, and bring back to the mat. And he right on the edge, though. That Strasburg kid is working the edge of the mat hard. They come back into the center of the mat. Colin Cole's on top with 50 seconds left in the first period, and they'll start off. Colin is on the right side. Whistle. He goes, and now he's looking for that ball and chain. That was a different approach, and he broke him to the mat. Now he's working for that cradle. He's got a good block the elbow. He's get the cradle locked up in the middle of the mat. He turns him over slow and easy. Knee in the side. We're getting back points right there and looking for a fall. Referee's looking for a fall.
Kicking and squirming,
there
rocking
it is.
back and
right
forth.
There.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
He's got it. He just got to squeeze and squeeze the air out, and got a near fall pin with a cradle in minute and 39 seconds.
That sounds good to me. 139 seemed a lot longer than that, but Colin Cole with the big pin win for the Beat Diggers. How about that? 2 in a row.
That was another nice match, and a little bit of length and.
Okay, Jason Marino will be up shortly here at 120. But
I think I talk faster when my kids wrestle.
You probably a little more adrenaline going there. Corf Continental. They're your GMC, Chevrolet, and Buick sales and service providers of pre-owned super centers, ready to serve you in Sterling, Yuma, Julesburg, Brush, and Fort Morgan. Find them at www.corfautogroup.com. Marino going against Nick Carter, sophomore. Both of them sophomores.
Marino was in on a knee snatch and had it and then lost it as they work again. And where's the Strasburg wrestler taking our wrestler? Right to the edge of the mat. And they shoot. Strasburg does end up shooting us out of bounds, but they're pretty nifty at that. Right there they go again. They start in a neutral position, and Strasburg guys working Jason towards the edge and not letting him back in.
Jason giving up a lot of size here.
Yep. Go out of bounds again. Strasburg wrestler shoots Jason off the mat. Now we have some headgear issues. We had a false start there. Did you see that?
Yeah, Jason got to step back. The other guy was messing with his headgear.
Red stalling, so that would be.
I think it's Brush, but
yeah,
gotta look see what's Andy
Brush
puts in the air for score. Oh, Jason had a leg.
Yeah,
let go of it.
Jason needs to work for the center, but I do believe I think they got called for stalling. So because he's pushing us, he's working it to the edge and then not letting us back in. Jason circles in and takes a shot, and then he gets in deep and he falls to his butt. So the Strasburg wrestler pushes him over and gets a 2-point takedown. Jason's right back to his feet and gets an escape. So it's 2-1. Marino losing the match in the first period. Jason shoots on a single leg, pulls it in. He's got it up in the air. He goes to a double, takes the Strasburg kid down and gets 2 points out of it. So now Jason's in the lead, 3-2. Jason goes right up to the working on a tilt, breaks him flat. Has that arm underneath. Right there's a half. If he's running a half, he's hipping into him. He's working for the half, and Strasburg kid comes back up to his base. Jason's working that pretty good. Goes to a 2-on-1 now, and he's looking for a tilt. Jason's looking. And then the Strasburg kid stands up. Jason drops to a single again and goes right to it. Brings him back to the mat. And then he loses control, and the Strasburg kid doesn't quit, and he's no escapes given, but Strasburg kid's working for a reversal now. Second left. No points, no change of control, so Jason goes into the second period with the lead 3-2.
He got a hand on the inside of the knee and
Yep.
maintained a little bit of control.
Strasburg's choice, and he takes down.
Nick Carter listed as a JV, but they bumped up Chad Nuttall to the 146 weight.
They start out, and Jason breaks him flat and goes right to that 2-on-1 ride, and then works for a half Nelson, and then keeps going and just popping up, and Jason bringing him back to the mat, and then he goes to a stand-up and cuts a double and works for a half to put him on his back. Misses the half Nelson, but he had the right idea there. Jason has looking for the near side cradle, and they're right on the edge of the mat again, and Jason needs to use that to his advantage there, and he didn't do it.
Oh, he gave up on that.
Right on the edge. Jason had that near side cradle working it, and the kid just kind of wished around behind and got a 2-point reversal.
Jason shows flashes, but if we could go ahead and finish his moves.
Yep. Jason has a little bit of problems.
Kind of caught a little low shot there, but okay. Ackley Building Center, for your one-stop center for home improvement projects. Ackley Building Center is located at 1402 Mill Street in Brush. It's your one-stop shop for flooring, paint, tools, appliances, and more. That's Ackley Building Center. And in Brush Grocery Cart. Stop, shop, and save on all your grocery needs and snacks for game time enjoyment. You can also pay your public service bill and access Western Union at Brush Grocery Cart, 1302 West Edison Street in Brush.
Jason used 35 seconds of his injury time to catch his breath. Not because he was out of condition, but so Jason is down. The score of the match is 4-3 with 1:23 seconds left in the second period. Wow, that's quite the starting position.
Yeah, he got away with that the last time, too. It was wrestling
Jason
University.
does a quick stand-up, and he turns in and gets an escape and scores 4-4. Now they're working towards the edge of the mat again. Jason needs to circle back in and make sure his butt is facing the center circle, not the outside circle. But the Strasburg kid is just not letting him in. They go out of bounds. Strasburg shoots him off the mat. Referee has the colors on the mat different than the colors on his wrist, so I think it confuses some of the wrestlers where they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Jason gives up a stalling call because he's being brought to the edge and he's not circling back in, so he does it again, and they go out of bounds. There's a questionable call by at least the Strasburg fans think so. I do think he was out of bounds, stepped out and stepped back in real quick and made it look like that. Jason's going to get hit again for stalling as he doesn't work to the center of the mat. The Strasburg wrestler's actually working him towards the edge, but Jason's letting him do it, and then they're staying on the edge. There he goes. Jason's got to circle and work towards the edge of the mat, or the center of the mat. They go out of bounds again. Strasburg kid's doing a good job shooting him off the mat, and Jason's allowing him to take him there.
Jason's giving him a little bit of confidence.
Jason's first new moves need to be circling on the black circle, not to the circling in the red. Jason gives up another stalling call. Now Troy, Coach Lucenholt gets a little explicit about making sure Jason knows that he needs to stay in the center. Jason listens to that instruction, and now they're working in the black circle in the center. Jason takes a shot and gets in deep, and then the Strasburg wrestler grabs an outside ankle and does spin around and get 2 points, but that was a good deep shot by Jason. Jason back to his feet. Now he's working and peeling. Time runs out in the second period.
Yeah. Nick Carter, sophomore for Strasburg. Say he's listed as JV. But, put Jason in the down position to start the third period.
Jason's been coming up good on the whistle. There you go. We got that call for improper start after a couple times.
Rich McGurl trying to say, how am I going to explain this one to him? You're so far out of shape there on that start.
Jason doesn't come up as quick this time, and the kid, Clark, what's the person, Strasburg's name?
Nick Carter.
Carter reaches over, and Jason just kind of turns into it and comes out and escape. Scores 8-5 with Jason losing the match at this point in time with 1:45 seconds. Jason takes a shot on the single leg. Jason gets in deep. He's just got to know he cuts it to a double, and they work to the edge of the mat. And now Jason, they go out of bounds. Jason actually benefited from that one when they went out. So now it's 5-8. Jason is losing the match with 1:30 seconds left. Jason wasn't quite ready for that whistle, so it's good that he was still looking and communicating with the coach on that start.
Sign language to the coach.
Yeah. Jason reaches in and tries to get a knee snag again. Jason is being allowed to get work to the mat. He circles in this time. Now he's in a straw. The other kid gets a takedown, comes right to a half Nelson off the shot. And then they go out of, Jason's out of bounds, flat on his back, but he is out of bounds, and the Strasburg wrestler's still in. So Jason, there they go. They're completely out now. We got 59 seconds left in the third period. Scores 10-5. Jason gave up another injury time because he wouldn't get back to the center of the mat, so that's his second injury time. So he's going to give up choice or give choice to the Strasburg wrestler. One more of those, and he'll be out of injury time and have an injury default. He's given up 2 stalling points, and the score is 10-5. He is losing the match.
Okay, stop the injury time.
So used a minute of injury time total, but you can't use any more because once you call 2 injuries, you're done. The next one is injury default.
So Carter takes a down position.
Yep, that's where he gave up the. Jason brings him up, and they stand up, and Jason cuts it to a double and brings him back to the mat, and brings him right into a half Nelson, and almost gets some back points. He had a 1 count and just couldn't get the 2. Jason still has the barbed wire on, and now he drops down to his hip, and Strasburg wrestler. Now Jason brings his hips up with a barbed wire, and is working to. Looks like he's almost baiting him there, Rob.
I don't think he knows what he's doing, but it's working.
Now he gives up a reversal, and then he comes to his feet, gets an escape, so the score is 12-6 with 20 seconds left in the match. So Jason works on throwing a headlock and misses it, and then gets taken down, goes right to his back, gives up near fall points, and are right on the edge of the mat, and it gives up a pin with 5 seconds left.
Oh, man, another 5:55 pin. Excuse me, the first one. That makes it 25-10. Pete Digger's in the lead. Conrad Cole will be up next against Chad Nuttall. Oh, boy. Willow Coffee, Tea, and Smoothies and G Sweets Bakery. Your perfect combinations. Stop it Monday through Friday, 6 to 6, Saturday 7 to 4. Stop by and see them at 921 Edison Street in Brush today. The G Sweets Bakery and Willow Coffee, Tea, and Smoothies. We're underway. Conrad Cole going against Chad Nuttall, junior for Strasburg.
Chad is about a head taller than Conrad too, so both the Cole boys had a little bit of length tonight to wrestle with. Right now they're in a forehead-to-forehead tie-up. Conrad goes to that Russian tie. He pops it through and shoots in on a single leg, gets a single deep. Strasburg wrestler's on his hips. Conrad hips over and brings him up and gets awarded 2-point takedown. Conrad now works into a tight waist ride. Sets the elbow and comes up with a good crossface and brings the head to the knee and works on a cradle. Misses the lock. He still has that elbow tight, and the wrestler from Strasburg is another tall, lanky wrestler. Conrad goes to that cradle again and gets it locked up, and he's going to run it over, brings him on his back, getting near fall points, and that kid's just lanky. Brings it and hips back over, and Conrad tries to bring him back into him because his length is almost like a teeter or a fulcrum, and when he brings him over, he just keeps rolling through. Now he's got his head The wrestler from Strasburg reached through the cradle and put it around Conrad's head. He lets him up for an escape, so the score is 4-1. Conrad Cole's in the lead. 30 seconds left, and Strasburg wrestler takes a shot on Conrad, and he sprawls out and puts his head in his side and comes around and works for a near side cradle. No points are awarded for the takedown, but now the points are awarded. Conrad has a 6-1 lead with 20 seconds left in the first period. Conrad looks to a near side cradle now, has that arm deep across his neck, and actually it's being held there by the Strasburg wrestler. He needs to put his head in the side and bring it. Now he looks at boy, he's
running out of time there.
Yeah. A little bit of flexibility there on the Strasburg wrestler's side. Score is 6-1. Conrad Cole's in the lead. Conrad's on top in the beginning of the second period. Conrad starts, whistle blows. The Strasburg wrestler kind of just posts out. Conrad works on that post in the elbow again, I think. That kid is just flexible. Conrad's he's going to have to set in his moves tight and good before he runs them, because this kid just is really flexible. Now he's got a head and lever ride. Now he works to that elbow again, and he brings him back to a cradle, brings him back. Now he's settling in, and he's got it tight. He loses it again. Conrad Cole gives up a reversal because he just squeezes through that cradle. Scores 8-3 now. Conrad's on bottom, and the wrestler from Strasburg is kind of just sitting there, not really working anything. Conrad works on a sit-out. Strasburg wrestler lets Conrad Cole up, and the score is now 9-3 with a minute, 5 seconds left in the second period. Conrad is staying low in a knee crouch. Now he comes back to his feet, faces the Strasburg wrestler. This wrestler is wrestling in the middle of the mat, though, Rob.
I think Conrad's got a little to do with that.
Well, he's not chasing him, he's not pushing him, he's not letting him move him, but there's a snap down. He brings it to a front headlock. Nice snap down. Head in the hole, and he's bringing it around, and he gets another 2-point takedown and working right for a cradle from there. Head in the side. This is a near side cradle, and now he's scooped the leg, and he's working on that just the 3/4 Nelson turn. He brings it in, and he's working on the head a little bit, and the kid's, nice crossface. I guess when they don't go under and they pop their head up, you just give a nice stiff crossface and post the elbow, and now he's working on the barbed wire.
Little knee in the back.
A little bit of pressure there. Wrestler on bottom's not doing a lot, but he's going to have to watch that or he'll get called. Another stiff crossface, but the wrestler on bottom's just not doing anything. Ooh, you heard the whole crowd go ooh on that one. Nice.
Could be bigger bench over there somewhere, it sounded like.
Conrad Cole's choice, and he takes down. The score is 11-3 in the beginning of the third period.
Somebody's got a little blood. Looks like it's Chad Nuttall.
Let's imagine that. Oh, I guess it's just his lips. It's not his nose.
Okay.
Conrad Cole takes down in the third period. Scores 11-3.
Conrad was ready to go, and they're hollering at him, "Let's go." It wasn't him that stopped it.
Conrad sits out and hits a switch, comes around behind and handles that length well. He sits in and settles. Now he comes through with a pick and step and now he's got Nuttall on his back in a pick and step. That he is just flexible and lanky. He's using. Conrad gets a little high and he comes back around and squirts through and reverses Conrad. So Conrad's giving up 2 reversals today, being over aggressive and working for the pin. Scores 15-5 with a minute 30 seconds left. Conrad sits out again, and Nuttall just kind of has an underhook and a tight waist, really not doing anything. Conrad hits an elbow elevator elevator. Nuttall comes out. Now Conrad gets an escape, but really comes right into a front headlock, and now he's coming around behind for a reversal. So the score is 17-5. Conrad works that far. Post that far elbow again and working for a cradle. I think he needs to go for that pick and step again or that. The kid on bottom's not doing a lot. Conrad's working hard, and that's how he's giving up the reversals because the kid's not. Conrad rolls him through and gets a headlock out of it. He can settle in on this and get a pin out of this. With 40 seconds left, he just needs to take his time and settle in. Make it tight. He's got the gram on now, and he needs to pick the head up. He's going to get the fall here, and if he's fall with 33 seconds left in the third period, so that's
5:27.
Yep.
Got a good workout and a pin. You like that?
Yes,
How
you
about
do.
that? 31-10 on a team side for the Beat Diggers. Jaron Peterson will be up next. So just don't forget Colorado Plains Medical Center. Accidents and illness strike day and night, and every second counts. As a level 3 trauma center, Colorado Plains Medical Center is ready to handle any type of emergency. And, of course, AC Ice. They proudly support local high school sports throughout northeastern Colorado. When you need ice, don't just settle for any frozen water. Get AC Ice. You can find it at your local grocery store or convenience store.
Dual meet scores: Brush 31 and Strasburg 10. Jaron Peterson shoots in on a low single and gets it and circles around, and Strasburg wrestler does have a whizzer in. And guess where they're going, Rob?
Right to the edge.
Right to the edge of the mat.
Be out of bounds.
Now they go back in neutral.
Keenan McCarthy is the wrestler at 132, the junior for.
Jaron's got a bloody nose, so we got blood time right now.
Okay. We clean that up. Stubbs Gas and Oil. Make Stubbs Gas and Oil your next stop when you're heading out of town. During your visit, you can gas up your vehicle, sit down to lunch, get snacks, or your hunting and fishing licenses. Find everything you need at low prices at Stubbs Gas and Oil in Wiggins. Okay, I guess they're all cleaned up already.
We start in neutral position with 1:45 seconds left in the first period. Just kind of seeing what each other has right now, circling and working, and Jaron's doing a decent job keeping them in the center, not letting the Strasburg wrestler does a shot, and Jaron gets a deep underhook, and Strasburg wrestler's looking for a dump, but Jaron comes up with his hips, and now if he can hip him through, it looks like he's got a cradle locked up. He does. Cradle and near fall back points going right now. Jaron is he's really high, kind of like what Conrad was before, but he's still got the cradle locked up and 2 back points already given, or counted out, now given. So the score is 4-0. Jaron with a minute left in the first period. Jaron comes up with a single leg out of a bottom control, and then he trips him down back to the mat. They fall back down, and the Strasburg wrestler jumps back up, and Jaron drops to the ankle again and picks it up. We got a
little cotton on the mat.
Yep. Jaron is working to take him back to the mat, and the Strasburg wrestler, they're just tall, aren't they? Jaron lets go of one and dives onto the other leg, and I have not seen that before. Now where they're in a scramble, Jaron is coming through out the back door, and the Strasburg wrestler is using a little funk.
That's the illegal hold.
Yep. Jaron has it's illegal scissors to the head and arm.
I don't think he's going to call it, though.
No, he's calling blood. Yep, he called blood time, stopped it for blood, not the illegal hold. So maybe he saw the blood before he saw the hold.
He had a scissor on with the arm in there. I don't know.
That's if
it's still illegal.
If it was draping and there was no pressure on the shoulder, it would have been okay. Once they put that pressure to the shoulder, then it makes it illegal.
But they just stop it.
Jaron starts out on top and chops the arm and knee up the butt. Breaks him flat. Now Jaron's working on a 2-on-1 tilt, it looks like. Yep, that's what he's working on. Now he's working on a hammerlock. He let go of the 2-on-1, and now he's coming up for that hammerlock on the inside. Now he goes back to the 2-on-1 and tries to break the Strasburg wrestler back down flat to the mat.
Strasburg wrestler talking to his coach over there. What'd I do? Like I say, all these Strasburg wrestlers seem like they're a foot taller than we are.
I wonder what the basketball team looks like.
Yeah, must be a little short. Look like wrestlers.
Jaron starts out on bottom, and he hits a switch right off the whistle and gets it. Now he's got, and then the Strasburg wrestler in turn hits an elbow roll or an elevator, comes back out on top. So we had a reversal and a reversal right there in the first 10 seconds of the second period. Now Jaron's on bottom. The Strasburg wrestler looks like he's attempting to throw the legs in. Jaron threw a stirrup on the right-hand side. Now Jaron's standing up. He's off the mat, and he gets an escape. Score is 7-2. Jaron's in the lead. Jaron shoots for the far leg. Kind of a half-hearted shot. Now they work out of bounds. Jaron attempts to throw right on the edge. Still in neutral. The Strasburg wrestler does a half-hearted attempt to shot. Jaron reshoots and gets a single leg. He comes around. He's circling around the outside. The Strasburg wrestler's flat on the mat with his hips, and Jaron comes around for 2 and gets 2 points awarded for a takedown. He was right into the hammerlock off from that.
Get a little more blood time here.
Injury time green, so looks like he hurt his knee.
He's got he's got knee pads on both, but there's a big black one on that left knee.
Yep.
That's a good way to run the injury time. Just hand the clock to the referee. Wonder if he knows where the buttons are. Referees know where the buttons are on a stopwatch?
I mean, I don't know where some of those stopwatches they have now are not the simplest thing to use.
No. I hate them. I'm glad the clocks work.
Okay, a minute left in the second period, and Jaron's on top, and he's also winning the match at this point, 9-2. Goes to a tight waist ankle. The Strasburg wrestler sits on his butt, and Jaron works it to a pick and step. Now he's got the Turk in, and he's working for the claw. He's got the back leg elevated. Has the back leg elevated in the other ankle, and he's got to get the claw in there to make it go. He's got to get it deep. He's got to work on the front side, and he does. He's got the claw in there. He's got to get his weight back a little bit. He's a little bit high. Now he loses the leg, but he works underneath and gets under the arms again, and 20 seconds left in the second period.
McCarthy with that long arm had enough leverage to kind of fight it off.
Now he resets the pick and step and goes for a head pry. There he goes. He's got it now. He's got back points anyway. He's met criteria for 2. And then he's got that long trunk, and that helps him just turn into that too, doesn't it? Second period comes to an end. He gets 2 back points awarded. The score is 11-2. Jaron Peterson is in the lead. Strasburg wrestler chooses neutral. Start the third period. Jaron's had good success tonight shooting, so I hope he keeps it up. Doing a little head tapping right now. Jaron's doing a good job staying in that center of the mat, too. That Strasburg wrestler's trying to work him out. Now he's doing some hand fighting and working Jaron towards the edge of the match. Jaron drops to a knee and kind of holds onto the elbow. So right now, Strasburg wrestler goes into a front headlock. Jaron's turning and turns through and throws by. So a drag on the front headlock and goes back for a 2-point takedown. Score of the match is 13-2 with 1:15 seconds left in the third period. Jaron Peterson is in the lead. Bottom guy's kind of having a guard in there. He's not really opening up, and Jaron, now he does, and Jaron goes to a 2-on-1 ride. Looks like he's going to hit a tilt. He rolls it through for a tilt, starts getting back points. He'll get a 5 count out of that, and he brings him back around. Lets go of the hold. Well, he hasn't let go and lets go of the hold. Gets 3 points awarded, so now it's 13-2. And now he's got the hammerlock. The Strasburg wrestler's flat on the mat. Jaron
I've got it 16.
They just flashed it 16. Okay. So now he gets that hammerlock, a big cheese they call that, and he loses it just because of the length. But then he comes back around behind, and now he has the hammerlock or a double arm bar with 20 seconds left in the match, and the wrestler from Strasburg's tying up his ankles. They must have some type of yoga class or something down here because they are all flexible.
Yeah, they're really not muscled up, though, I guess.
No. Jaron goes for another quick tilt, doesn't get it. 5 seconds left. Jaron's going to end up winning the match 16-2. He got bonus points as a major decision. got a nice crossface in there on the end.
Did he?
Yes, he did.
16-2 win. Let's take 30 seconds. We'll be back with more on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Welcome back. Arnaldo Maltos Garcia steps out against Logan Huser. And Baby is recalling for the Beat Diggers.
Logan's a senior.
Baby ranked number 9 in the state.
Baby gets down low on a low single and comes through, but Logan comes up with some of the offensive wrestling called funk, or what you see more in college, and Baby's trying to come out the back door. Logan's got him tied up pretty good in with his wrist, his hand around the throat. I've not seen that, but that now he comes through and just jumps off the back, and now he comes back neutral again. So they're back back on the edge of the mat. Logan goes to a front headlock. Baby's on his knees right on the edge of the mat. Logan is working it through. Comes to the opposite side and throws a. That was a nifty move there. That was more like a pancake out of that. He let Baby come up and he took him the opposite way in a pancake.
But they were clear. Baby was way out of bounds.
Minute 10 seconds left in the first period. Baby's down 2-0. Off the whistle, Logan goes to attempt to tilt, and Baby comes up and they hits a switch and they scoot out of bounds.
I can't believe he's not ranked here. User.
Logan is. I talked to his dad tonight. Logan has had some medical sicknesses and stuff, and I think he's looking healthy now. Through our Metro program, we wrestled with the Bennett and Strasburg people quite a bit, so I know his dad. And Logan goes. Baby comes up and stands up. Logan goes to the cross leg ride and brings him back down, and now he's not working up yet, but Baby's flat or open and up, and
User's kind of scissored the arm through the legs there.
Baby's got to crawl forward and make an attempt to make action. He does. He gets back to his base, and they're right on the edge of the mat. Baby stands up, and Huser goes to a wrist control, 2-on-1. They go out of bounds. Is that called the Kansas when they reach under there?
I don't know about the Kansas one, but Huser got called for stalling early in that scramble.
Oh, Baby gets another caution. I gotta watch the referee, because as many cautions as we had tonight, sometimes that's the referee's doing something different.
He's just going really slow.
Yep. Whistle blows. Baby comes to an attempt to stand up, and Huser drops down on the leg again. Baby's 6 seconds left in the match. Baby's got a whizzer on, and Huser's got a whizzer in.
And they could have dinged Huser for stalling there, so just hanging on for dear life.
The coaches wanted the stalling called, didn't they? Maltos Garcia's choice. He chooses down. Scores 2-0. Strasburg is in the lead in this match. Baby does a quick stand-up. Huser brings him back down to the mat. Huser runs right to a spiral ride. Baby uses that to come to a stand-up. Huser throws a leg in off the. He's gonna if he doesn't do anything here, then he goes to that Kansas ride again, and Baby comes around and comes up looking for a reversal and going right for his head. This is some funk going on there. Huser's about in a defensive pin because he's still not giving up control, but Baby's doing a great job of staying on top and in the balance. So now they come in, and Huser's just hanging on. They're going to end up in a stalemate for this because Huser's not working for anything but
hanging on to the leg down low. But
Baby's back down again with 1:20 seconds left in the second period. Again, the score is 2-0. Baby is losing this match at this time. Whistle blows, and Baby goes to a kind of a roll. Huser comes up with that hammerlock roll, kind of the Thompson Valley ride that we've seen by Valley and Thompson Valley. Baby circles into it this time, and he's circling in, and he keeps circling. Huser gets high. Baby's coming out the back door right now. He grabs his head. He's swimming. He's got Baby. Baby should have a reversal and back points out of that, and he does. He's getting back point counts now. 50 seconds left in the second period, and Baby's working for a pin. He's got to lift his head up. He's looking at the mat. If he takes that arm up and looks up, he must have heard me. Baby's working for a pin.
Just got it sunk in there pretty deep.
Yeah. Huser's fighting hard. He's got some core strength, must be, in there. In his Baby Huser gets back to his base, and now he's belly down, and Baby scores 3 near fall points. The score of the match is 5-2 with Maltos in the lead. Baby goes right to a tilt attempt off from that, and that's what I like to see. Keep moving one to another to another. Baby rolls it through, but then 10 seconds left in the match. Baby's in the lead.
Second period.
Yep. Baby goes to armbar half, and we're going to run out of time in the period.
Good scramble by Baby there.
Huser's choice. Huser chooses down. Off the whistle, Huser does a tripod stand-up. Baby comes around with a spiral ride, and then Huser circles out through and comes out the side door. Now they're neutral. 1 point escape. The score is 5-3 with Baby in the lead. Huser takes an attempt. Baby hits 3 shots and takes a dump right to his back. Baby gets a takedown and near fall points out of this. Baby chins it. He's got it deep and chinning him. He's going to get looks like we're possibly going to get a fall here. Baby's working hard. Has his back points earned. Chinning him hard. That's punishment right there. He's fighting hard. Now he's got the grandma in walking around. Pinfall for Maltos Garcia. 1:19 left in this third period, so that's
141 or
131.
Let's see, 5:41.
41.
That's man, that I've seen some fire I haven't seen in Baby before.
Yep.
He looked like he's ready to whoop somebody.
He went right from one move to the next. And
he did. Well, David Dunham's up for the Beat Diggers. So he's got to take on Damon Hornshell, another long tall. Oh man, we got to catch our breath after that one.
David Dunham, 145 pounds. I don't know if we haven't seen him in the varsity lineup for a while. Last time we saw him, I think he was at 138 in the beginning of the year.
I think he did one match for us. Was it last week?
David's shooting in, and the Strasburg wrestlers take him to the edge of the mat.
It could have been a JV match. I can't remember. But with Cookie out and stuff, things are a little different.
They go back to the center right off the whistle. The Strasburg wrestler shoots in on a single leg. David comes up and goes to a whizzer ride. Strasburg regular takes him back to the mat. David still has the whizzer, or the head at least, and he doesn't give it up, and he comes back around. No points given yet. Oh, and then the Strasburg wrestler comes up with a twister or cement mixer, and they go out of bounds. So they're neutral still. That was a good scramble for Dave.
Yeah,
he thinks he's down. So they go and start forehead-to-forehead tie. Dunham gets snapped right into the Strasburg wrestler's leg. He's just lengthy again, and then David attempts a dump. Doesn't really achieve it because of the length, and then the Strasburg wrestler comes out on top with a leg in. David grabs the far arm and pulls him over. David's working to come around. He's got a Strasburg wrestler's hips are down. David comes out on top, gets a reversal out of it. Scores 2-2 with Dunham tied. David goes to a tight waist ride. David works for a far arm, or an arm bar. Now he's coming to that one-on-one on the other side. Then he goes back to a tilt on the opposite side. He's working an arm bar tilt against the arm, and then he comes back up, and the base is out, and then he goes to a armbar one-on-one ride, and he's working to the edge of the mat very well. He's not letting a Strasburg wrestler, and he's wrestling, bringing that shoulder through. He's bringing an armbar around. He's bringing it hard. He should be getting back points out of it right now. He's got to settle in right on the edge of the mat, so we're not letting a Strasburg wrestler take us out now. He's got his full complement of back points out of that, so he's got 3 near fall. David Dunham's winning this match in the first period, 5-2.
And we got headgear problems. The referee helping out
Yep.
Strasburg wrestler with that. That's Damon Hornshell. Houndshell, I guess is how we say that. Got that headgear all messed up.
That is, it doesn't look like it just is an easy fix.
Of course, this is 1010 KSIR, KSIR.com. Get that headgear fixed.
Strasburg's wrestler's choice. He defers to Dunham. Dunham takes down.
Let's see, is David a freshman?
Yes. Yep.
He's short, stocky, and stout.
Yes, he is. David does a quick switch, or attempted sit out and switch, and the Strasburg wrestler just chases him. David does hit a switch, and he comes up, and he goes right to a pick and step out of it, gets a reversal, and guess where they go? Out of bounds. Scores 7-2 with Dunham in the lead. Off the whistle, the Strasburg wrestler just reaches up and grabs David's head, brings him around, no points are awarded yet. That's where comes through, and the leverage rolls through again, and kind of roly-toly tumbling around out there. Each of them has their heads are just kind of rolling.
Who's got who, huh?
David comes back around. He looks like I don't know who's got who. David ends up losing the battle in the head grab, and now he's in a cradle on his back, giving up near fall points, reversal and near fall. He kicks out of the cradle, but he's still fighting off his back. He needs to bring that arm down between him and his body. David's fighting hard with 1:10 seconds left in the second period. There he goes. He bellies down again. He's got to get that elbow down. He's deep. There he comes through again. He gets to his belly. Way to fight. Up, and then the Strasburg comes back up with another half Nelson. But David is belly down right now and working to get to his base. That was a cradle on the back of the head. They call it potentially dangerous. So the score is now 7-7 with seconds left in the second period.
Kind of going away from us. Yeah, we're tied up now. 42 seconds left here in the second
What grade
period.
is the Strasburg wrestler, do you know?
Let's see. He's only a sophomore. Listed at 138.
So they're both wrestling up.
Yeah.
David crawls out a little bit. Now he goes flat down from a tight waist ride. He's working up. Strasburg wrestler has one-on-one. David hits a sit out, keeps moving, and hits an elevator, comes through. He's actually free, but then he works for a reversal instead of just an escape. And then he comes in underneath on a double leg, and he needs to drive through. He breaks the Strasburg wrestler down to his hip, but the Strasburg wrestler uses that momentum to throw him through, and now Dunham comes back through and gets a takedown out of it. So the score is 9-7 with 9 seconds left in the second period, and we have headgear problems again.
They're
just going to switch. That's probably a good idea.
Steal somebody else's sweaty headgear there. Must be somebody you shared with before.
It must be.
Went on pretty quick. Get that chin strap to work.
I think that's what the worst thing is, having that chin strap right next to somebody else's mouth. That's kind of...
Well, this one goes under the chin instead of...
It's still right next to it.
Okay.
David comes up and breaks him back down. We got 5 seconds left. David goes to an ankle. Strasburg wrestler sits out, and David comes around and holds him down for the period.
Been a wild match here. 9-7 for David Dunham.
Strasburg wrestler chooses down.
They're giving up over a head in height again in this match.
If their basketball team is as tall as their wrestling team, they probably have quite a team.
Yeah.
David comes underneath and does a tight waist ride, breaks him flat, and he's working for that arm bar again. He goes deep tight waist. a deep tight waist, and I bet that's pretty tight down there. David's arms are kind of short and stocky, so he's got that pressure. And then he hangs his head, and the Strasburg wrestler reaches through and pulls him right over. David's on his back and gives up a reversal and near fall points. He's fighting back to his belly hard, but he's giving up those 3 points. And then he gets to his belly. Minute 20 seconds left in the third period. The score's 12-9. David's losing at this point in time. Strasburg wrestler comes out in a barbed wire. David reaches for the leg. Then he gets thrown over on his back, but no points are given. David bases out again. Working back to his base. Strasburg wrestler rides hip to hip right now. He's working for a half Nelson. David needs to keep his head up and look away from the half Nelson. He looked into that and that allowed him to get rolled right over. That's a deep half Nelson. No points are given up yet, but David's getting crunched quite hard. He gets rolled over and put on his back and then pinned. Minute 47 seconds left in the third period. So that's
5-13, eh? Is that about right?
Yep.
As Beat Diggers lose that and by a fall, but that's good match for David Dunham. I think he just hit a brick wall there about the end.
Yep.
MMI International, your operation deserves the best when you're buying a mixer or a feeder truck. Compare MMI design, craftsmanship, and service. They continually outperform our competitors. Hands down, they aren't afraid to stand behind their product. Give them a call at 842-5161. That's MMI International. Oh, Zane Fowles out there. 145 pounds. He's ranked number 9.
Wrestling
Nathaniel
152
Disher
tonight.
is ranked number 8. Both of them ranked at
8 and 9.
145.
Are they? And both are wrestling 52 tonight.
Yeah.
So we got a 45-pound match at 52. Zane shoots in on a low single, and Disher?
Disher. Yeah,
Disher comes through with
Disher.
a little funk move here, and then Zane comes back through with a little bit of funk himself, so he's coming through the back door. Zane ends up coming out on top with 2 points, and then they go out of bounds. That was a good flurry of action right there.
Yeah, that was almost a non-call there.
That was.
Could have gone either way, but not sure there was a lot of control there by Zane.
Enough, I guess.
Zane's going to get called for false. No. Give him a caution on the start, C1. Uh-oh. Don't jerk the elbow, so that's C2. Don't.
Whistle blows, and Disher kind of just bases out. Zane goes post the elbow. He's working for a cradle already. He misses that, and then he goes back to a tight waist ride, and he posts the elbow again and gets high and gets thrown off, and now it's a escape for a Disher, and it's a 1-2 match. Zane Fowl in the lead. Zane's in a tie-up right now, and Disher reaches under for a cross leg. They looks like he gets it, and then Zane gets taken down right on the edge of the mat and then put in a cradle, pinned.
Ooh, that was a quick pin.
51 seconds, so a minute, 9 seconds in the match.
Paul, Daniel Disher.
109. Officials getting tired. It's getting towards 10 o'clock here.
160
So.
pounds,
Must be.
John Still versus Alec Peterson.
See where we're at. 41-22 on the team score. Alec Peterson. We got 2 more matches. Alec and Toby McDonald left. How about that? Alec Peterson's headed out here. State Farm Insurance. Let State Farm Insurance office of Greg Mullen and Brush help you find the best policy that fits your life. Home, auto, life, and health insurance at State Farm. They're here for you and your family. Give Greg Mullen a call at 842-4555.
Alec gets in a tie-up and attempts to throw by and misses it, and then now he's in an over-under tie, and he reaches through and does an inside trip coming up, and he gets a whizzer, comes through and over the arm and comes right into a half Nelson off of that takedown, and is going to getting back points near the edge of the mat, just like about where Zane was when he got pinned.
2-point takedown, 2-point near fall.
And come back to the center, and Peterson gives him an escape, so it's a 4-1 match. Start neutral. Peterson goes in and does a little hand fighting. stays in the center of the mat, too. He doesn't let the Strasburg wrestler work him to the edge like we've seen some of the others. So Peterson, heavy hands and doing some good hand fighting, comes up underneath, shoots down now on a single leg, cuts it to a double.
John's still a sophomore.
Brings it down, goes right to a half Nelson again. That's good to see. We're starting to wrestle in flurries and not just settling with a takedown. He brings it in and he ends up with a cradle right on the edge of the mat again. He hasn't got near fall criteria met yet, but he's settling it in. He's got a minute left in the period. He's getting it tight and walking it up. He's got to bring him circling back around, but he got a two count out of that. And now he's got the leg where he wants it. We should get a pin out of this. 47 seconds left, so minute 13 seconds. Pinned him in a...
By fall, Alec Peterson.
Kind of a different looking cradle.
That was
There's probably a name for that one. But
Smith versus Toby
Bob Selly from Ray has 110 cradles, and that's one of them.
Yeah, well, he walked up the leg and trapped that between the body, so it was a tight cradle.
He is powerful. Okay, Toby, the last beat digger out there as he takes on number 3 ranked Jacob Smith. Smith in the black, red, and white singlet as they shake hands.
Toby goes right after him, works his head. Smith shoots down for a nice double leg and goes right to a half Nelson, but Toby bellies down and works out of that. Now Smith goes to a tight waist ride. Looks like a tight waist arm bar. They come up to their feet, working the edge of the mat, and then referee blows whistle, bringing them back to the center.
Smith's pretty well put together.
Yes, he is. Off the whistle, Toby bases out, and Smith goes right to a arm bar ride, arm bar 1-on-1, working him, circling it, bringing the shoulder to the ear, kind of a nice way to do that. Settling in, getting near point falls, or near point gets a pin out of it.
Okay.
Minute 25 left, so that's 35 seconds.
Ball by Jacob
35.
Smith.
Then that's senior ranked number 3 in the state at a tough weight, 170. Okay, let's see. 47 to
28.
28 should be. Yep, that's what they got up there. Beat Diggers win the duel, 47 to 28. We're going to take a short time out, come back and wrap it up, and head home here on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Well, welcome back, and this post-duel show is brought to you by Mr. D's Ace Home Center in Sterling, Brush, and Fort Morgan. Mr. D's Ace Home Center is your farm and ranch headquarters for all your farm and ranch supplies, and they carry feed for all your animals and pets. And I forgot, the opening match is usually brought to you by Buildings by Design. I want to thank them for sponsoring us. Buildings by Design has the experience to complete your project from start to finish. Get the quality you deserve in your building by starting your build project right. Start with Buildings by Design. Well, Shane, it was an exciting duel.
It was. I mean, I'm seeing, if it matters if I say it or not, I'm seeing some good spark from our wrestlers, and they're moving from move to move. And earlier in this year, and even earlier this year in 2015, I thought they were either, if they got taken down or they made the takedown, they kind of said, "Ooh, I got it. Now what do I do?" Tonight they actually went from a takedown to a half before they thought about it, and even when they were being taken down, they popped back up. So I'm seeing what I would see some good stuff getting at this part of the year.
Well, we started it off with Kyle Rosenbrock, a 51-second pin over Skyle Ames at 182 pounds. Jose Rodriguez got one of the only forfeit win for the Beat Diggers. And then we went to Tristan Teeter. You going to bug out on us, Shane? Thank you, sir.
I got to get back.
Oh, congratulations on the new job.
Thank you.
DFA? Uh-oh. HR, huh? Okay. Good. Congratulations to Shane. Thank you for helping us out. He's the new HR director for this region, like 13 states or something for Dairy Farmers Americas, so they'll get a good guy there. Okay, let's go on to Tristan Teeter. He lost a major decision, 12-4, to number 2 ranked Shane Combs from Strasburg. Tristan ranked at number 9 on the mat. And Joe Carwin got a 3-2 win over Jacob Sandesteven. Carwin ranked number 1, Sandesteven ranked number 3, and undefeated coming into this match. So that was well worth the trip. Caleb Cox had a great match, 9-0 over Tyler Disher from both of them freshmen. Disher from Strasburg, Caleb Cox for the Beat Diggers. Colin Cole with a pin win at 139 over Chris Zacher. Then Jason Moreno lost by a pin at 5:55 of his match to Nick Carter, a sophomore from Strasburg. Conrad Cole with a pin at 5:27 over Chad Nuttall. At 132, Jaron Peterson 16-2 over Keenan McCarthy. And at 138, Arnoldo Maltos Garcia in a tough match with Logan Huser, and he ends up pinning Huser at 4:51 of the match. David Dunham lost by a fall in a match that he was leading 5:13 of the match. Zane Fowl lost by a fall to Nathaniel Disher. Both of them ranked at 145. Disher ranked 1 ahead, and Disher with a pin at 109. Alec Peterson with a 113 pin over John Still. Toby McDonald loses to number 3 ranked Jacob Smith by a fall at 35 seconds. Well, Chad, you're designated driver tonight, or you drove down, so you got a couple minutes to say hey to us.
Yeah, I got a couple. I can pace myself home.
You can. I've got to go to work in the morning.
We
I was hoping to get home before midnight, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
I think we got a 5:40 practice for the middle school in the morning.
We? You're younger than me. You can handle that. Well, good night for the Beat Diggers. They win 47-28 over Strasburg, 56-24 over University. So,
yeah, I thought a very solid performance on both duels. In this last one.
Wait a minute. 47-28 was Beat Diggers over Strasburg. 56-24 was Strasburg over University. Beat Diggers beat University 67-7. So that was.
University had some holes, and we plugged the rest of them. So it was a good night.
And Cody Cole, coach over there. So lots of Coles around us tonight.
Yeah, no, that's a wrestling family right there.
Yes, pretty much. Okay, Caleb got a big victory there over a Strasburg wrestler, giving up all that size, and he just shows you the quicks and stuff. It's going to be exciting to watch his career.
Yeah, I think Mr. Disher was a little bit closer in weight than most of the 6-pounders that Caleb's run into, so it was a good match. He's been learning the hard way what he's got to do, giving up size to these kids. So happy with the way he's wrestled the last 3 weeks.
Well, it's a fun team to watch. Seems like they're kind of coming together. And maybe one duel we will get the whole team out there.
Yeah, well, I think Mackey had a cold, from what I understand, and I'd rather have a missing hole here or there leading up until maybe the end of next week, and certainly regionals. That's what we need. We just need them all hitting on all cylinders in 2 weeks.
Well, we should have a good tune-up next week with the triple duel with Fort Morgan and Wiggins.
Yep.
And that'll be at Fort Morgan Gym, kicking off at 5:30. As we'll also be back at 6:30 against Valley for the league championship.
In Valley on Thursday, right?
Yeah, Valley on Thursday.
Yeah,
February 5th. So
I think the Morgan Wiggins duel. Fort Morgan's got some really solid upper weights that finished well at top of the Rockies, and I think a couple of our guys will relish the opportunity to get a chance to meet up again, and there'll be some really good wrestling.
It should be a lot of fun. It'll be a great week next week, and looks like they're getting ready for us to get out of here. So, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, appreciate all the listeners and the sponsors and the radio station and everyone involved.
Okay. Well, Rose, I know it's past my bedtime, so she might be a night owl back there. I don't know. Running the board for us, doing a great job. And, of course, all our great sponsors and our great owners. We mentioned them earlier, but it doesn't hurt to say it again. Thanks again. And if you folks are in any of the businesses, tell them thank you for supporting all the local activities and the local kids. It's awesome.
Yes, it is. We definitely appreciate it. And thank you, Rob.
Oh, yeah, we love it. You can't keep us away, so you either. It's wrestling family's a unique thing. A lot of people don't quite understand it, but go out and beat the heck out of each other and end up being friends or whatever. But
yeah, you get it in your blood, and it never goes away.
It's cool. It's a great sport, and a lot of great people, and we sure enjoy it. So thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Have a safe trip home.
You do the same.
And thank you, Rose, for doing such a great job, and all our sponsors, and Alec and Christy for all they do for the community. We want to thank everybody, and enjoy wrestling on 1010 KSIR. We'll be back next Wednesday night from Fort Morgan at 5:30. So thanks again. We'll see you on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Good night from Strasburg.